Whew, I just made delivery to a hospital, and this nurse was wheeling this guy down the hallway in a chair, and the guy was like, the guy in the wheelchair was like, yeah, like I was watching the news and I can't believe how many people die from the flu shot. And the nurse was like, every year. I want to be like, that's such fucking bullshit. I want to curse that nurse out so bad. And I'm like, but I have this mantra right now. I need this job. I love this job. Until one of you guys, are gonna donate $200 million to me via PayPal. I gotta work. So until that $200 million comes, I don't know. I guess I'm stuck delivering to hospitals that, think the flu shot's killing people left and right. I'm so tortured. Anyway, so I came up with something I thought was really, I haven't heard anybody say this. If somebody has, then, but I want to be like, I'm the first one that thought of this, I think. So, you know how they say orange man bad? I'm like, yeah, orange man badass. So that rally was great. It was awesome. Again, I don't know which was better, the State of the Union or the rally he had. It was great. Again, he said that the Green New Deal, I haven't even read it yet. That's why I haven't done a video. I haven't read it. But if it really is what it says, people are saying it is, he compared it to a high school paper. I was rolling. He's so funny. This is the thing that I'm starting to get about him. He's very funny, and I think people don't get his sense of humor, because the left has no sense of humor. So they interpret his snarky, sarcastic, clowning people. He's just clowning people, right? And people are taking it that's me because they don't as meanness because they don't have a sense of humor. I'm just starting to I'm getting this. This is why a lot of people don't even like him, and they take everything he says so seriously. And I'm just like, can't you tell that he's just fucking with you? Like he's just poking you like this with his mind, with his jokes, And they always fall for it. It's so funny. He talked about abortion. He talked about the wall, of course. I love how he said this in the State of the Union. He said this in the rally that the people that are advocating for open borders are hypocrites because they're living behind walls themselves and they have security. And I was just like, that's true. He's like, I have security. I live behind the wall. Why? Because I want to be safe. He's just such a New Yorker. And, if he was on the left side and he had this attitude, people would just be like, oh, he's just being a New Yorker. Like, people would be honest about what he really is. But, just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean you can't be down to earth. I think there's this really, sickening, rampant belief in our society. If you're rich, you're a bad person. And most people, but I know a lot of poor people that are fucking horrible people. Sorry, I know people that are terrible human beings that are poor. So it doesn't really matter. I think there are a lot of rich people who got their money by lying, by misleading people. The pharmaceutical industry is one of them. My disdain for the pharmaceutical industry. They lie to people like a lot. And they, not even misinterpret, but they purposely put out wrong information. They influence the medical schools. The whole medical industry is built about a pyramid of lies. Maybe except for trauma injury. I will give the allopaths that, but the evil allopaths, as far as disease and stuff, they've totally manipulated the system to where they basically poison us to keep us sick until we die. They don't cure anything. They have marathons and stuff where they run for the cure and walk for the cure and whatever for the cure, but they've never found a cure, and they never will, because we'll never get a cure from them. I'm probably going to do a separate video on that, but we'll never get a cure from them because they are, they profit from keeping people in fear and disempowered and sick. So why would they? It's a bad business model. If you think of it from a business standpoint, why would they? Why would they give people the power to kill themselves? So why would they admit that Gerson therapy and antineoplasm therapy and oxygen therapy and CBD oil and, you know, all these types of cures for cancer, why would they admit that they work if it's going to put them out of business? You know? And give the people power. They wouldn't have to. When people talk about Medicare, I have a very radical view, as you guys know that watch this channel, on Medicare and the Medicaid and stuff. I just think if we cut out like all of these unnecessary medical treatments, if you change our paradigm, the way that we look at health, we'd only need hospitals for medical emergencies like car accidents and shootings and stabbings and people breaking their arms and stuff like that. We don't even need all of this. You know, if you just focus on disease prevention and have a real conversation about like where cancer comes from, where all these autoimmune diseases come from, vaccines, and baby sprinkles in your food. As you know, check out HEK 293 cells. You know, all like GMOs, like they're splicing salmon with strawberry genes in order to make strawberries last longer. They're growing corn with pesticides inside, you know? So our body's not meant to process this stuff. This is mad scientist. So you think maybe we might not die right away, but you would think that, you know, if mice are growing tumors the size of golf balls, when they eat this stuff, only 30% of their diet. Check out the Eric Seralini study on GMOs that he did. They fed mice 30% of their diet. They fed them GMO food, and after 90 days, they developed these golf ball tumors. Now, if most Americans are eating, or a lot of Americans are eating, you know, McDonald's and junk food and all this stuff with all these chemicals and like, you know, DNA, mad science inside them, our body's not meant to process them. Do you think we might develop cancer and autoimmune diseases and all these other crazy things that we have that has never been heard of before? Come on. Darn, this is a totally another video. I meant to talk about the rally and I went on a tangent, but I'm going to leave it in here because y'all need to know this stuff. But the rally, yes, I feel like it was basically just another add-on to the State of the Union, which was also great. But, you know, there were thousands and thousands of people that were in the audience, and then there were thousands of people outside that were watching it on screens that couldn't get in, and I was so bummed that I had to work. I drove up there to see him because this is history in the making. And another time when he was in Houston, which is 3 hours away, I was in DC. I'm like, oh my god, like anyway, so I'm sad that I couldn't see it in person. I hope I get to see him speak you know, someday, just so when I'm older I can be back in my day, I went to see Trump speak. You know, I can tell my grandkids that, or, you know, whatever. I would like to be able to say that, but as of now, I can't. I can just talk about, I'm living through it. It's a very interesting experience as far as politics go in my lifetime. And then Beto O'Rourke had his little like barbecue. It was like a barbecue. It wasn't even like a rally. It was so pitiful compared to all the people that came. And he's like, when he talks, he's like using his hands. I'm like, are you speaking sign language? Like, what are you doing? He's just like, yeah, man, you know, oh, you know, when people's babies are being ripped from their arms and they're separating parents at the border. I'm like, are you still on that? I'm like, don't you do investigative research? Do you really believe this? Don't you know about, I don't know, Reno versus Flores? Don't you know about the Time magazine having to retract that article and that cover and saying that it was bad, that it was wrong, that child that they used wasn't even separated, that they did DNA testing on a lot of those people and they found out most of the kids weren't the parents, that, you know, they're traffickers that bring kids with them, so they have to like figure out, you know, if these kids are even belong to the adults that they say they're with. I mean, really? You're still on that? Wow. I hope, I don't know what I hope more. Do I hope that he doesn't believe that because he's just incredibly stupid, or he's just playing on really butthurt, you know, Hillary supporters that lost? Because I think even and Bernie supporters that lost too. There's still a lot of Bernie supporters that vote for, or that are into Beto. I drive around Texas, and I still see Beto signs, and people are still like in denial that he lost. But I know that they're waiting for him to run for president, and they're going to, you know, instead of Beto for Senate, they're going to put Beto, they're going to put just a president sticker over their Senate. I bet. My friend and I were talking about the other day. We're like, yeah, they're just waiting. They're just waiting for him to announce so you can just put that sticker. And he's like being on coy, like, I don't know if I'm going to run. Bitch, you know you're going to run. You're going to run. We're just waiting for you to announce it. Duh, we all know. We saw the money in the machine that was behind you. They're marketing you like a white Obama, okay? And, you know, we're just waiting for the announcement. Just wait for it to be official. We already know that you're gonna run, okay? So, I'm just waiting for you to make an announcement so that we could just see. It's gonna be like the Hunger Games, but like with the Democratic Party, so we could just see all y'all just eat each other. I'm gonna get some, like, I can't do popcorn. I'm allergic to corn, so I can do some like quinoa. I don't know. I'm gonna get some snacks. I'll get some kale chips and I'm gonna watch this shit. This is gonna be entertaining. But I'm so blessed, or I think we're so blessed to have a president that hasn't sold us out for the most part. You know, you could criticize him on his foreign policy, you know, depending on where you lie. I don't know a lot of details about that, and I'm not going to really comment on that because I haven't, you know, I haven't delved deep into that, and I don't know the details. But right now, I used to look outside of the U.S., but right now I just want to focus on our country because A, you know, you can't solve all the problems of the world, and B, you know, our country needs help. And, you know, Obrador in Mexico sold his people at all. He signed that migration compact, and they're not doing anything to help the caravan that's making life hell for the people of Mexico right now. They're not, you know, and then Macron sold his people out. Chute sold his people out. We're so blessed to have a president that's fighting for Americans and wants Americans. And you know, you look at somebody like Beto and his camp, they're fighting for illegal immigrants more than they fight for Americans. How can you be like, the only people that, you know, support him are just incredibly delusional, self-centered, virtue signaling, willfully ignorant, arrested development child adults. You know, I just don't, yeah, I mean, that's what I think, I think they are. So I guess more to come. We're still waiting for that for the announcement. It was great to see, you know, how many people showed up to Trump's rally compared to Beto's counter rally, as I guess he would have liked to call it. But yeah, I just can't, I can't wait. I mean, 2020 election year is going to be very interesting, and I'm actually going to vote for Trump. I didn't last time, but I'm going to this time. And just because, you know, the insanity is high right now, it's really high on the Democratic side, on the left side. Don't get lazy and think that you don't have to vote, because, you know, we don't want to be like the Democrats, okay? And like I've said before, I don't really consider myself a Republican. I'm just supporting the president we have now, because I think Republicans have their own faults too. But I just want to make sure that he stays in for another 4 years, because he's doing incredible things for this country that we need. And yeah, I mean, if any of those freaks get in, then they're gonna just undo everything that he's done. So, you know, don't get arrogant and haughty like the Democratic Party was, and think that, you know, that they have it in the bag. You know, we still gotta go out and vote. We gotta, you know, walk away. We gotta inform people and stuff like that. All right, guys. I'm working. I had to take off my work shirt to make this video because my work shirt's all dorky. But there gonna be probably more car videos in the future, just so I can get videos out, so I'm not missing anything. If not, then I don't know when I'll be home to be able to make these videos. But it's kind of long, so I'm gonna peace out, you guys. Peace and love. All right, love you guys. Bye bye.